All right, guys. Whew. All right, so Bitcoin at 93.3K, Apple at 242s. We're watching that as well. So we got Apple at 242s. We got Bitcoin at 98.3 thousand. We got the NASDAQ currently here, looking at it at about 21.5K. Bitcoin at 98.3 thousand. We got the NASDAQ. Let me get this out of the way. What's up, Corey, Faye, Joseph, Lewis, JP, Pawn, Guy, Ray? What's up, chat? Can y'all not hear the music? You should be able to hear it. Yeah, music's here. Yeah, you can hear the music. All right, good. A little quiet today. Not really too much craziness going on. We got like the SPY down here. Where's Tesla at? 607's on the SPY. Tesla almost to $400. Crazy. That's kind of the big story of the day. Tesla at almost $400. Ran up the last couple months. Yeah, I'm looking at some of my investments. Checking out my investment accounts. Target at 133 is looking good. Pepsi down. Coca-Cola. Luckily, we took profit in most of these, but you know, could have done better. I think we got some earnings this week. I think today we have C3 AI earnings in the afternoon that we're going to cover. We got Oracle as well, so we got C3 AI and Oracle. C3 is losing. Honestly, though, part of me doesn't even know whether I should cover C3. What do you guys think? Is it worth covering? I think C3 AI has lost some hype over the last, like, C3 AI has lost some hype over the last 6 months or so. They're not as hyped up AI-wise as some other stocks. Palantir at $82. Let's take a look. So, yeah, Bitcoin back under 100K. Palantir at $82, man. Crazy for Palantir. Wow. What a ridiculous gain for this one, man. And good for it. It's based off of AI. No C3 cover. Palantir. Well, Palantir earnings are already over. You know, Palantir earnings are already over. The next earnings for Palantir drop in February. So those are already done. The only other big, like, yeah, we got GameStop earnings tomorrow. We got Oracle earnings today. We'll see what they do. But nothing really big today. So today's a little boring, and that's all right. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week we're busy, and then next week we're packed full of stuff. So this week we got CPI and PPI. Next week we got like retail sales, Fed decision, PCE data, GDP data, jobless claims report. I'm trying to see what happens the week after that. So we got the slow weeks of the month are typically that middle week, and this is going to be the same too. It's the holiday week, Monday 23rd, Tuesday. All right, so Christmas Eve. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I would be careful with Top Step X according to Pawn today. They got some glitches going on. So is it my refresh rate seems to be fine. And they didn't put out any alerts is the only thing. I'm gonna try a combine because if I lose, like, I'll be fine. I'm gonna test it. 1 micro contract. Okay. Yeah, so I just got my trading so far on Top Step X is fine, and my refresh rate is good too. So my refresh rate is good, my API connection status is good, my NASDAQ contracts are good. So I'll probably just trade on a Combine account until, you know, closer to the opening bell. But so far, so good for me, at least. I just did a test trade. So, yeah. NVIDIA? All right, so Palantir are big. NVIDIA down to under 140s. Let's see if we got any news here for it. All right, so China is probing NVIDIA on suspicious anti-monopoly law breaches, according to Bloomberg. Yeah, I'm looking at some stuff here. We're looking at NVIDIA. All right, so Supermicro got their NASDAQ extension deal done, which is good for them, of course. They're back up to almost $50 a share, which is good. And so, again, China is targeting NVIDIA over potential breach of monopoly laws, is what I'm seeing. It says they've opened up a probe into NVIDIA over suspicions that the U.S. chipmaker broke anti-monopoly laws around landmark 2020 deal, taking aim at the AI heavyweight as Washington ramps up sanctions. The State Administration for Market Regulation opened an investigation into NVIDIA, specifically citing the company's behavior, as well as the circumstances surrounding the acquisition of Mellanox Tech. Central Television said on Monday, Beijing gave approval for the deal 4 years ago on condition that NVIDIA not discriminate against them. NVIDIA's position as the leading provider of AI has kind of made it a target in some ways in the tech battle, basically. If you guys remember earlier, Washington barred NVIDIA from selling its most advanced semiconductors overseas. The government overseas approved NVIDIA's $7 billion acquisition of a computer networking equipment maker on a condition that it included that Mellanox provide info about new products to rivals within 90 days of making them available to NVIDIA, although NVIDIA also agreed that chip makers would get a chance to make sure the products work with the tech. Yeah, so just a lot of stuff coming in. This is what's making NVIDIA drop this morning. If you look at NVIDIA, this is certainly what's making NVIDIA drop this morning. You can kind of see this article came out early in pre-market, and NVIDIA dropped heavily from this. Again, you had Supermicro news. They're up again today. Taiwan Semiconductors building chip plants in the U.S. Yeah. Again, Tesla at $400. That's crazy for Tesla. Let's see if it continues. All right, NASDAQ's been downward trending essentially all morning. Yeah, I'm looking at some other market news here. Again, we got Tesla up big today. Tesla up big. Yeah, the biggest news story of the day, the one that's making NVIDIA drop, is the NVIDIA probe for monopoly law breach. That's shaking markets this morning a little bit, but I don't know how big this news is going to be. Yeah, so this week again we have inflation data, CPI inflation data. It's a big release this week. It's on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens on Wednesday. But we do have a pretty large inflation data release on Wednesday and Thursday. Really, we have PPI inflation. So Wednesday's CPI inflation, Thursday's PPI inflation is what we got going on. Looking at some other news. All right, guys, Nvidia at 140 still, just under 140s. Where's AMD? I haven't even looked at AMD really. AMD's down some too. Microchips are down today in general, but my inflation gauge are eggs. Well, eggs is food and energy are the most volatile. So I don't know if looking at one of the most volatile things and then trying to use that to gauge inflation is the right move. CPI is expected at 2.7% the day after tomorrow. Core CPI expected at 3.2%. But food, egg prices are going to be volatile. They're going to be up big, down big. That's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, Tesla really large today. Tesla big. Let's see if we get any other news here for it. All right, so Deutsche Bank names Tesla a key idea for 2025. A record high is getting pretty close for Tesla. And I think Tesla's interesting here too, because like if you look at a longer term chart, you look at an hourly chart, Tesla's had a good run. If you look at a long-term chart, like a weekly chart here, lifetime highs are just above us at 414s. So we're less than $20 a share away from all-time highs for Tesla, almost up to 414s. So Tesla stock is currently running up big. We'll see if it holds. Is my mic low? How's the audio coming through? So I heard it a second ago because I heard it a second ago because there was a echo because it was coming through, but it didn't sound low to me, the mic. So I heard it earlier. It didn't sound super low. Yeah, might just be your end, Lewis. I swear I'm dreaming right now. Bitcoin 100K, Tesla near all-time highs. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think people get misled in a lot of ways in finance. And I think people in finance, you have to be strong-minded. Like, you can't be easily upset. You can't be easily, like, talked into different things, right? And I think a big problem that a lot of people face is gullibility. I think people are just freaking gullible, man. I think it's easy to talk people into all these different scenarios. It's easy to make people hate stocks or hate different people or hate different things. And people get so wrapped up in that they in turn have this wrong perception about stocks, especially blue chip stocks. I say it once, I'll say it again. I don't care how much I'm never shorting a blue chip stock long term. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm never betting against a blue chip stock long term. It just doesn't make any sense. It's trading against the biggest edge finance ever gives you, which is long term value, and blue chips and indices, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just not going to bet against those big companies. And I think over time, you see all these people that go against these big companies. They say, their argument is, it's too high. It's too high. The problem is that most blue chip stocks are going to continue to break highs, and they're going to, especially the Mag 7, the Magnificent 7 stocks, they're going to continue to break highs. And so if you're one of those traders that have gotten kind of misled into betting against them, you're probably going to keep getting disappointed because they're going to keep going up and up and up. And, I'm not dumb enough to try to bet against them regularly. And I think you got to be strong-minded, strong-willed in this game. Yeah, no, I think the China shift's big. It's definitely big enough to make Nvidia drop, a couple percent. So it's not good for sure. NASDAQ down to 21.6. China's a big tech hub, man. You want their business, So John, the main problem is battling your own bias. Well, yeah, everybody has bias, sure. But I think there's a couple generalized statements that are true in market. One of them is that the Magnificent Seven over a long period of time, I'm not talking short term. And when I say short term, I'm meaning like 1 to 3, 1 to 4 years, right? Not short term, but on a long term perspective, they're going to go up over time. And I think this is very obvious. And so trying to bet against those, and I think that's risky. And maybe it works out. Like maybe some people are going to be able to top pick the market. I just don't think that edge is very big. And I think it's hella risky. I just think that trading with the edge the market gives you is important. But we'll see. We'll see. I think Tesla, my guess is Tesla over the next month is going to break all-time highs. I might be wrong here. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. But I think Tesla over the next month or two is going to break all-time highs. Most likely. It's kind of like Bitcoin, right? Like I predicted this Bitcoin 100K move. Super predictable. Whenever something gets this close to like a huge level like this, it's pretty obvious it's going to break all-time highs. And so you remember, I bought Bitcoin at 92 the weeks preceding the high break, right? And my logic was like, hey, we're really close to a big milestone level. I think investors are going to run it up to that level, right? And, if you look at Bitcoin did just that. They ended up running up here early December. They ended up running up here into Thanksgiving. They ended up breaking 100K afterwards, got up to 104s, 105s. Pretty predictable thing. And in that regard, I think Tesla is going to be a similar prediction here. I might be wrong. Do not copy me. Again, not an investment professional. But I think Tesla will probably at least run up some more leading into this, barring no big news comes out. I think Tesla's going to run up leading into this, leading to this level. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Everyone makes assumptions. It's an assumption that the Mag 7 just goes up forever. I mean, what if new tech replace cell phones and Apple pulls out a Kodak move? Hard to imagine. Yeah, I mean, the $49 is universal space silver, so you'll get the $49 amount on, if you buy it now, you'll get it on the resets as well. But going back to the point here, I'm not saying the Mag 7 stocks go up forever. I'm saying in investing in finance, you have to take the big edge play, or you don't have to take the big edge play, but you want to side with the bigger edge, and the bigger edge is certainly not shorting the healthiest companies in the world right now. The likelihood that all of the Mag 7 stocks break highs from here on out is much higher than them breaking down some big percentage. And I think over a long run, Apple, Amazon, like betting against Apple is doing very smart things into the future, right? Like I know there's all these people that for whatever reason like to hate on Apple. I'll put it this way. Apple's been breaking lifetime highs for the last like 2 months, like the last 3 weeks. Apple's been breaking lifetime highs. 3 to 4 months ago, people told me that Apple was going to get booted out of the Magnificent Seven and that it was no longer going to be in the Mag 7 and that it was losing market share and losing interest. And it's not that I made fun of the people saying it, but I told them they were wrong, and they absolutely were wrong. And the reason they were wrong, Apple's incredibly smart. Apple is, once people choose a provider for their smartphones, like Apple, Samsung, whatever, they typically stay with that provider. And one thing that Apple does really, really well is they get young people interested in their products. And so Apple, again, I've said this example many times. I could buy my daughter the newest Apple or the newest Samsung phone out there right now, and she wouldn't take it. Versus a 4-year-old Apple iPhone. She would take the 4-year-old iPhone over the newest Samsung device out there. And that's very telling because that means that young people are going to continue to use Apple. And I think this is very predictable. Very predictable. Now, is it 100%? Of course not. But I think people that get talked into betting against that, I think it's silly. And I think it's easy. Again, I think in the finance game, you have to be resilient. Like you can't fall for all this stuff like Apple's gonna crash and get booted out of the Mag 7. That's a dumb thesis, right? Like it's a dumb thesis. Let's just be honest here. But maybe it happens. You never freaking know. But I think it's dumb, and I think that at least anytime soon it's not happening. Barring some crazy event in Apple's fundamentals, barring that, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, Tesla too. I've been telling people this about Tesla as well. Tesla's just a tech company, and people think it's a car company. But I could be wrong. I don't freaking know. Tells how young people... No, it tells how young people, yeah, they want to fit in. Young people want to fit in, 100%. And that's not really a young people thing. That's everybody. People generally want to follow the pack. And Apple's the pack. And again, it's all good. Like I said, my point in this is like, look, man, I know they've romanticized like predicting market crashes, and that's like the cool thing to do, is be a contrarian and think the market's gonna crash and be right, and everybody's like, dang, look at Bill, he predicted the market crash, guys. But the odds of success in that are so freaking low. It doesn't make any sense. It's just people jumping on that bandwagon, wanting to be contrarian, and they're losing money over long periods of time because they're trying to do that. And I think it's important to recognize that bias and, like, you know, just trade with the big edge is the point. Do we see the NASDAQ selling off today, or does it retest new highs before stalling? Does feel very extended. Yeah, I think we're a little extended too, but but just because we feel extended doesn't mean we're going to go down. Again, I tend to think we're going to correct at least a little bit over the next 6 months to a year, but who knows? Anything could happen, really. We could go up, down, sideways. I have no idea. MicroStrategy, yeah, buy MicroStrategy if you think Bitcoin's going up. That's the reason you buy MicroStrategy. Yeah, old people definitely want to be young, man. Like, a lot of people would consider me old, and I certainly am. But old people are weird sometimes too. Yeah. You got some old people that accept age, and they're just like, hey, I'm getting older, and that's okay. And then you got some people who just refuse to admit that they're getting old. And they just end up getting weird. And, like, again, I don't ever want to be that old guy that thinks he's young. Like, I don't ever want to be this guy here. Like, I don't ever want to be this guy right here. You know? So I'm just trying my best not to be. Alright. Let's see if Bitcoin breaks highs. Bitcoin dipped down a little bit this morning, and now it's kind of bouncing back some. Tesla's still edging higher, though. Just under 400. I think 400 is a big level today. I don't know if we're going to break all-time highs today, but I think 400 milestone level on Tesla is the big spot. No, I don't have any gray hairs yet, but it's coming. The problem is the term crash. A correction happens almost every year in the market, and is actually what is more likely. 9 to 15% pullback. Yeah, but here's the problem. This is why people that are trying to top pick the market are making bad decisions most of the time. Sometimes you can do it, but all right. So tell me this, okay? Like, let's talk about it, right? If the market goes like this, what's the easier direction to bet on the market? Genuinely, if the market does this, what's the easier bet here? Is the easier bet trying to short and catch this small little sliver of downward action before it goes up more? Is that the big edge? Of course not. The big edge is to go up. Is to attack the market on the upside, because that's what it's much more probable to do. And even if we do dip, buying those dips is going to be more profitable than trying to short those like tops. And so that's the big question. We might dip, and sometimes we do have little corrections throughout the year, 100%. But the real argument is that profitable to try to attack? Of course not. You got a small sliver of that. And you might be wrong. It might start to look like that and then just runs up and breaks highs and traps you. And so it's just not the biggest edge situation. There's higher probability bets out there. in the market, you know. And I'm not talking about day trading. I'm talking about like investing, swing trading, you know. Skinny jeans with holes. I'm old enough to where I don't know what's cool anymore, right? Like when I was in the 90s, super baggy pants were cool. Then in the 2000s, it was like semi-baggy preppy pants. Then like late 2000s, skinny pants were cool, right? And they were cool from like all the way until like 2015. And then 2015 happened, and then baggy stuff started to come back again. And now all these young people just look like they're dressed in the 90s. Some of you even have seashell necklaces like the freaking 90s now. It's just cyclical. Like the whole thing's cyclical. And I'm at the point now where I don't even know what's cool anymore, right? I'm just wearing normal fitting stuff because I have no freaking idea what's cool anymore. And I know one thing, I am not cool, right? I'm definitely not cool anymore, and that's okay. Top 3 coolest ever here. I don't think there's many so-called gurus that predicted this bull market. I'm not saying I predicted it, but I certainly told people that we didn't have to crash and that the biggest edge was on the upside. Basically, what I'm saying now to you guys, I was saying 2 years ago when everybody thought the market was about to crash. And so I don't know when the market's going to crash. I don't know when the market's going to run up. I know what the safer bet is, though. All right, so we're going to trade a little bit this morning. I'm going to lock myself out of Top Step X until... we'll keep our Combine account, but I'm going to lock myself out of both of these until 8:30. All right, so that's one. We'll lock ourselves out of this one until like 8. And we'll just day trade our regular stock account if we need to. Yeah, so Pawn's talking about some type of glitches on Top Step X. Is anybody else running into that? Do you think the housing market peaked? Are we going to plateau? It depends on what interest rates do, to be honest. Dude, you are a 30-year-old savant. Cool. Who is? I'm definitely not. Crew socks. See, bro, I grew up with ankle socks. I'm with you, bro. What's up, Street? All good, man. Yeah, I grew up with no socks or ankle socks. Your white jeans. Were you a glam rocker, Larry? Yeah, that's why it's funny. Like, I find it funny how people criticize modern. Like, they criticize like modern like style for being like too feminine, and like these people that grew up in the 80s criticize it for being too feminine or whatever. But bro, in the 80s you had like glam rockers, you know. And I think when you bring that up, it's like crickets. It's like, oh, you know, they'll start crying about today's style, but then you look back at like White Snake or some of those guys, and oh man, they had their style for sure, man. They had their style for sure. Grunge, yeah, grunge was kind of like my movement, kind of like I grew up in the 90s, so. When in hindsight, it just looks like everybody was on heroin, to be honest. That's what it looks like to me. You know, and I was a kid, so like I wasn't super aware of that, but when I look at it in hindsight, that's what I realized. Yeah, I'm hearing this thing about health insurance claims. Like, when's the time to like submit your claims? 80s was fun, man, you know. Yeah, the 80s was fun. All right, guys. So, yeah. Tomorrow we have GameStop earnings. So to talk about something else now, GameStop. I know everybody always says GameStop's going to run leading into their earnings report. When I look at this, so today we have, again, C3 AI. Tuesday we got GameStop earnings in the evening. So we'll see what that looks like. Again, I don't know whether I should cover C3 AI earnings or not. I don't know yet. Let me do a poll. I see that I haven't done a poll. What's the poll? Will Tesla break 400 today? Yes or no? Will Tesla stock break 400 today? Vote on that poll. Does Top Step X run on Rhythmic? So I'm seeing this with a couple different people. My trading was fine. But I'm seeing this with a lot of different people here. So my trading was, again, all good. It was fine, but I'm seeing a lot of people run into issues on Top Step X. I'll try trading a Combine account here to see if we get any good results. So we'll play around on a Combine account this morning. I'll day trade it some too. It's early in pre-market, but hey. I'm gonna buy this here. I'm gonna buy a couple contracts. Actually, I need regular NASDAQ contracts. Probably a little risky. It's a Combine account though. Alright, so we're gonna take one. And then we'll add to it, I think, two here. Yeah, we'll take two. You gotta hit the live button. It's if you hit the live button. All right, so we're up a good bit. I'm gonna add to this, to be honest. I think downward pressure is a little bit too predictable, so we're gonna take our risk here in this Combine account. We got 5 contracts here. Well, I'm getting beat up here. Remember the Alamo? Alright, well, we're just getting destroyed here on this account. Luckily, we're already up about $1,000 on this account. I was hoping it wouldn't break down some more, but I'm gonna have to size out of this on the bounce up. We'll take a... Yeah. Let's see if we get a strategic add back here. I think we're probably going to go up and rebound and head back up on the day. And luckily, we only ended up losing about $190 on this account now. All right, so we're going to scale out of some size here. All right, so now we're basically flat, which is good, I guess. We'll add back if we dip some more. I think we're going to head up here, to be honest. Now we might actually be a little bit green. All right, so we're going to size in. 2 contracts here, and we'll add to it too if we retrace. What are you guys getting for Christmas at home here, chat? What are you guys getting? Gold already pushing up. Where's gold at? I'm gonna put 2 contracts up here, or 2. Gold is up. so that's nice. All right, so we got a little bit of edge here. I'm gonna add to this too. 3 contracts now. Again, GameStop's down. Anything else to look at today? Anything else you guys want me to look at? So I added to this and I got into 5 accounts, but 5 contracts, but it's a little bit too large here, so I'm gonna take some off. See if we can head back up, but we ended up getting out flat on that last string of trades. I'm gonna take half off, so now we're down a little bit, and I'm gonna add back, try to manage this. I ended up cutting some here, and we'll try to fight our way back. Kind of trying to get into some good trade management. Gold up there though. Look at the gold. Let me see. Gold's kind of flat this morning too. I'm wondering if we can have some like. See, our fills are not helping this morning too. I'm wondering if gold will have some edge trading chop. All right, now we're green. Let's see if we retrace back up. There we go. Gold pumping up a little bit here. Let's put up Apple. Where's Apple at? Yeah, look at Apple, man. Apple completely flat for the last week, but look at this graph here for Apple. Cruise? You're going on a cruise? Prime age rib. Bad John. I know, man. It's a combine account, though. So we have our actual account here. And so we locked ourselves out of our 2 funded accounts today. And now we're just kind of horsing around in a combine account this morning. Yeah, I think we're going to go up, but I might be freaking wrong. We're kind of flat on this combine account too. We're so choppy though, dude. All right, now we're green on these 5 contracts. I'm gonna limit my size some here. I'm just taking too big a size, I think, here, guys. So now that we're flat on this last little piece, I'm gonna cut at least some of it off. And then we'll let the 3 contracts roll. Because 3 contracts is plenty. If we do start heading up, that's plenty to rake in some profit from. But it's just less risk if we're wrong. Bitcoin coming back up a little bit too. AMD down some for sure though today. Yeah, I'm an adult, so I don't get anything cool for the holidays anymore. I doubt it. All right, so now we're green. We're up almost $100. Gold break it down. All right, so now we're up 150. We'll take a piece off here. Lock $40 in profit. Still kind of flat on this. I don't know what I want to do on the rest. Yeah, we're up 130 here. I'm gonna add some more to this now. 4 contracts. Took another $60 in profit off. Took another $70 in profit off. We're holding 2 contracts left. Maybe we'll add back some size too here. I don't know yet. Looking at Apple. I want to put Tesla on this chart too here. Look at Tesla. All right, so we're up a lot. We only have 2 contracts left, so it's small. Our plan worked, but probably could have made a little bit more if we tried. If we dip down, we'll probably add to it and just take a risk. And we got 4 contracts now. Alright, so we have 5 contracts now. Yeah, it's a combine account, guys, so like it ain't gonna be that big of a deal no matter what happens. So yeah, Powell spoke last week. Oh, we're up $130. Okay. Lock in a good chunk of that. You love to see it. Take another piece off there. We're now green on the day. Yep. Took another piece off. Maybe add some more too. See, my bullish direction worked. I have this kind of like principle for my trading, and it might not make a lot of sense, but sometimes the most obvious move is the wrong move, right? You have to think about like perspective of the people giving you the fills and, you know, squeezes on the in the opposite direction and all that good stuff. So sometimes we're gonna go ahead and just cut that in. So we're now effectively green on the day. Sometimes the most obvious move is the wrong move, and I think right here, like what we've done, downward trend, super choppy behavior, and then I think it's more probable than us going back down here is to break highs, or not break highs, to move up some. But that's why whenever we came back down here, a downward trend was just a little bit too likely, I think, or a little bit too obvious, and so we took the upside and it worked. Kind of hard to explain in the moment though, but why won't you keep your cauliflower ears, bro? I don't know. I don't think my ears, like, I've had a little bit of collie ears, but my ears haven't hurt in like a long time, and so my ears stopped hurting as much, to be honest. I don't know if I just got better, and so I don't get myself in bad spots anymore, but I don't really get collie ear anymore. Given current market streak, slightly red week, maybe. The question is, do we rally? Do we have a Santa rally is the question. I don't know. No, no perks. Definitely no perks outside of it. My wife doesn't want me to get it. All right, look at gold rip up here. So gold flying up. Just broke that recent range. And Tesla's still at 399s. See, I don't want to buy this dip now. This looks too weak. Yeah, gold's ripping up. I see gold. Gold just broke highs of the day. Looks good. I'm gonna start to buy this dip now. 2 contracts though. We're not gonna take a big position here. See if we can catch a little pop. There we go. There we go. Not bad. Caught the little bounce. So far, so good today. I never did jiu-jitsu. I'm in my late 30s. Is it still worth having? I mean, yeah. Feel like all the white belts are breaking bones. I mean, why? I mean, listen, it depends on who you roll against. I always look back and I made a mistake in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu. Like, I feel bad because in the very early stages of it, like I'm pretty athletic as a person. I'm not just bragging and saying this too, but like within like 3 or 4 months, like I was beating, you know, some of the guys that had more experience than me. And because of that, whenever we'd have like a new trial guy, sometimes they'd be like older, they'd be like in their 40s or 50s, and they would come in wanting to learn. And, you know, in my mind, it's like, I'm a white belt, you're a white belt. And like all the white belts I ever tried to roll against, they never went light with me really. And so, you know, I probably went a little bit too hard on the new people at the gym, you know, but you learn, right? I think they call them spazzy white belts for a reason. And so it's just part of it, I think, you know. But if I can go back, I'd take it a little bit easier on them, for sure. All right. Yeah. All right, so the question is, what do we do now? Gold moving up some. Gold's at almost 2700s. Tesla's still underneath. I'm trying to see any more recent news come out this morning. Again, the big story is the Nvidia potential breach for monopoly law news. That's the big story of the day. You know, we also have some woes about private credit. So, 2.5 years, Franklin Templeton's BEN boss Jenny Johnson took to LinkedIn. European private credit stalwart Alcentra. Today, a key part of the acquired business is struggling to justify the enthusiasm. Alcentra was up there with current direct lending success stories like Ares and Immediate Capital Group. Some of the old ones are expanding, but Alcentra has shrunk. At its peak, it's managed 43 billion, according to Fitch. By the time Franklin struck the deal to acquire, it only has 38 billion now. Now it has it had 38 billion when they acquired it. Now it has 32 billion. So Alcentra's corporate direct lending franchise has lost some steam. Basically, the point is, asset management companies aren't always a sure thing. Alcentra was purchased recently in the last few years, in 2022, and so they're talking about private credit not being good. We'll see. Yeah, now I'm looking more like a short based system. I think here makes sense, so I might pivot to a short strategy. Yeah, it looks like I was wrong here. I thought we might push up right there. It's hard to tell whether we're going to continue chopping, but and I'm green on the day, so like regardless of what my thesis was that I was wrong about, we still didn't lose money. But I'm gonna start shorting, and we'll add to it. into this move. There's 5 contracts. Short. Let's see if it breaks the downward pressure here. Tesla coming down. I will cover this pretty quickly too if it turns against me. I'm going to cover some of this and maybe re-enter at the top like this. There we go. And this is a combine account, so we're definitely trading a little bit more riskier than we normally do. Oh, well, dude, I admit when I'm wrong every time I'm wrong, you know. Not every time, maybe, but I'll admit I'm wrong a heavy amount. Top 3 worst trader of all time ever. That's my catchphrase, bro. Yeah, I'm going to cut this. We're still green on this account, but we're going to have to wait. I'm probably just getting stuck trading chop. Likely a correction today. I think it's quite possible. I don't know, man. I don't think it's easy to catch a correction. Maybe. But, corrections are hard to pick. I would rather piggyback off of the correction like sentiment when we see it versus trying to predict it ahead of time, you know. And again, the big story of this week is CPI inflation data coming out this week. Yeah, so CPI inflation data is the big news story of the day. Why did you buy into a supply zone and not wait for the break? You mean why did I short into a supply zone? The reason I did is because I think, like, here's my thesis of the trade. Number one, I'm much more loose with combine accounts, which is what this is. But basically we've had chop, like confirming chop over and over and over again for hours now. Right? Because of that, I think eventually it's going to break on one side. I don't think it's going to continue in this direction for very long. And so it's going to break on one of these sides, and I'm just trying to get in ahead of it. Originally, my thesis was that it would break on the upside, but when it dumped down, I thought it could break on the downside. So I'm just trying to catch the break, and now it looks like it just kind of faked me out. And it's going to break on the upside like I originally thought. So, I mean, it's all good. It happens, right? I'm not super emotionally attached to the combine account. We've locked ourselves out of our funded account in pre-market because my trading's really not good in pre-market. And so some would say top 3 worst ever. And so we're just horsing around, and like we will buy into this dip now. See if we can catch the upside break if that's what we get, but I don't think it's necessarily easy to predict the direction it breaks on. Yeah, gold's pumping up though, so gold does look strong. All right, so we took 3 contracts here. Maybe we'll add to it if we need to. Hey, John, are there any risks to DCA into high growth Q versus regular for long term? I mean, yes, there's always risks in markets. Now, how much risk? I don't know, but there's always risks for sure, you know. All right, so here's the top range that we thought would break, and that, you know, just got a little bit late. There's always risks. Is it? I think DCAing into the Q long term is probably fine, personally, but I might be wildly wrong. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose, you know. Always do your own assessment. There's always risks, right? I mean, long term, as long as you're willing to hold long term, you're probably fine, right? But you never know, and anything could happen. It's finance, right? Anything could happen, but you're probably fine. Not an investment professional, though. Don't copy me. All right, so we added another piece to this. We could probably hold it break even if it turns against this. I mean, just high growth versus regular. Yeah, I mean, it's... I mean, you can't really directly invest into the S&P or the NASDAQ directly. So you have to buy other stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and unload some of this up here at the top. Our upside original thesis was correct. We just kind of... bad management. So the Q, you know, the only thing about the Q, right, and I'm looking up some of the differences now, to be honest, but the, we're going to take another little piece off here, and we'll probably hold one and then maybe add to it if we continue to get good confirmation, but the Q is more heavily weighted towards the Mag 7 stocks. The top 5 holdings, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, and more, they account for over 40%. If they underperform, the Q is disproportionately affected, making it less diversified. Other NASDAQ 100 focused ETFs or funds may have more equal weighted approaches. The Investco Equal Weight ETF QQQE reduces concentration risks. The dividend yield is low for the QQQ as well. So, all right, we'll probably add back to this here 2 contracts and see if we continue to get upward action. We might add back down to the 200 exponential here too. Oof. Well, we'll leave it here. As long as it doesn't have some brutal breakdown, we'll be all right. Yeah, this broke down more than I wanted it to be honest. So if we retrace back up, we'll take some size off of it just to protect it, even though that might show some strengths. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, so we just took some size off just to protect it. We bounced right at the 200 exponential. It just broke down too quickly here. Do you think Oracle will be able to take market share from Microsoft when they stop supporting Windows 10? Everybody hates 11. I don't know. I think maybe, but it's hard to tell, you know. Where's Microsoft? I haven't looked at Microsoft recently here. Microsoft was at almost 500 earlier this year, wasn't it? Yeah, it got up to 470s. It's been heading back up though. Like, it's been doing okay. There we go. Lock that in. Doing much better now with these. Take 2 off, some more. There we go. So our upward thesis, the original one, was correct. We just kind of got lost in the weeds a little bit here. I'm going to take some size now. 3 contracts total. Immediately take some off there. There we go. Maybe add it back. I'm gonna have to give it some time now too. You know, I'm gonna take another piece of this. We'll take 4 and then maybe add back, but I have to be risk averse here. There we go. All right, so we're gonna stick with our original 3 and add it only if we dip down. This will give us like an add spot. All right, so we got some size. Gold's still trying to push up. Where's oil at this morning? Yeah, we're just kind of chopping back and forth today. We're trying to ride a direction up, but we're just not getting a long one. Bitcoin's heading back up too, though. Where's Amazon? Amazon down a little bit today too. Apple 242s. Tesla falling down. Nvidia still weak. AMD's fighting back up, so I guess the negative stuff affected Apple too. Yeah, so I wanted to see if it would hold, but we're gonna have to just liquidate it and come back. We're flat on this account now, which is okay. It's a combine account. This is why I lock myself out. This is why I lock myself out every day in pre-market. Yeah, Sam, that's a dad joke if I've ever seen one, brother. Yeah, we unlock our account. We'll unlock it later on this morning. But let's take a look at gold. Gold sometimes, gold's a weird thing too when you look at the price action. Sometimes gold completely trends against the market. So like if the market's really strong, gold goes the opposite way. Other times gold follows the market in like a more zoomed out macro sense. So like gold can freaking do anything. It's very hard to judge short-term price action for gold, but there's also some like bank weakness can cause gold weakness, you know. I've never really traded gold. Same thing with like Bitcoin, right? Like I've been interested in trading Bitcoin, day trading it, but I just haven't tested it enough. And I've asked people a couple times, like on Top Step TV and here, if anybody day trades gold or Bitcoin, because I know there's a big market based around it. It's just really hard to tell what people do with it. Like, and what's the range? Is the range big? Zero attrition trading anything other than the NASDAQ, micro NASDAQ. Yeah, I trade the micro, but It's not easy to trade either. Like gold, I'm always looking for other stuff to potentially trade, you know. Yeah, I'm just not used to trading it. 2 to 3 micro Bitcoin. Day trading gold and Bitcoin are good for me, but only because I trade if I feel like I'm quite confident. It depends on the thesis, right? Like sometimes, like I said, the week before Thanksgiving, we had a pretty good thesis for Bitcoin, right? And what was it? It was that, okay, Bitcoin has gotten really close to 100K. It's probably at least going to tap it leading into the holiday weekend. Very easy, predictable thesis, right? Outside of that, you know, it's kind of like, unless you have something like that, which makes the probabilities in it like favorable, I think it's a hard one to predict, both gold and Bitcoin, right? Unless you have something like that, it's hard to predict. It's not easy. So which yen? The Japanese yen? Yeah. Depends on which yen, really. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep funded account program and futures. I could take these challenge accounts, and if I lose, it's not the end of the world, right? TopStep, they give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test with the demo, then they fund you with a live account. And so what this allows you to do is test your skill first and foremost before you start risking other stuff, right? There's no PDT in futures, so you can day trade gold, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, some currencies, and there's no PDT rule in futures. So you can day trade short, buy market, sell market, very similar to day trading stocks. And you can kind of see me day trade. You know, look, I'm in a combine right now. I'm going to take some of this off, but like very similar to day trading stocks. You can see me kind of liquidate those positions. Did it really give me a loss fill on those two? What? Okay, there's the P&L. Okay, look, zero commission, tiny amount of fees per trade. Tiny amount of fees per trade. Look, I'll go ahead and cut it. So we made a little bit back there. Okay, so I see what it did. It was just correcting. No PDT on futures. I can day trade the NASDAQ, the Dow. Dow was up this morning. The Russell, which is small caps, gold, currencies. No PDT rule. I can day trade short, buy market, sell market. And again, they give you a 50K demo for the base one. It's only 49 bucks a month. If you pass the test, you get a 50K combine, or you get a 50K funded account with a 90% split, and there's no PDT rule, right? That's a great way to learn how to day trade. You still have some pressure, not the full extent of a live account, but you got some pressure. So if you lose, you know, it's not nothing. You can't just add to it for nothing. But if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account with a 90% split, and they've paid out over $150 million to their traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. It's just the single best way to learn day trading. You know, you can see they paid out over 150 million since 2020. They fund thousands of accounts. Been around for 12 years. You know, here's the rules, pretty simple. And it's just a great way to learn how to day trade, right? Most day traders lose, and so you got limited risk here. If you lose, you're out 50 bucks for the base one. If you pass it, 50K funded account, 90% split. Still, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased because, you know, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance. Have limitations, guys. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. You want to confirm all this stuff with them beforehand, because again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support me. All right. We're going to be doing our day trading show today too. So our accounts will unlock closer to the opening bell. And we're going to do our day trading show. See, my coffee's almost done here, guys. But yeah, here's the Euro futures contract. I'm not used to trading that. Here's the NASDAQ. It's just so much chop, dude. Like, I guess I'm going to buy this and just, like, it's a combine account. So I guess I'm going to buy it, but man. So flat, so choppy. Yeah, see, it's like day trading stocks. Look, take this off. I'll take this off, and then I'll leave the rest. See if it really grows with me. We'll see. And this we're actually going to trade our actual funded accounts as well. So wish me luck. Now we're flat on this. With Nvidia getting cracked, yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. No, that's exactly what it was. That's what I realized afterwards. I think you can have up to 5 accounts, Rory, but I'm not 100% sure. You have to check with them. Go to the link in the chat or in the description to check. There's a fact page on their site. All right, so now we're underwater here. I'm gonna go long, see if it tries to fake out traders onto the 200 exponential. Or maybe we're just gonna get punished. This is why I don't trade in pre-market. Honestly, out of the last week, 7 trading days, I've only had 1 losing day. And the reason I've only had 1 losing day is because I've been locking myself out of pre-market, you know. Top Step X has a lockout feature, which is incredibly useful. I can lock myself out of my... So this is my Combine account. So this is like a little cheap account that I'm just playing with, testing stuff on. But this honestly proves exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. If we look at my accuracy on Top Step X over the last week, and my actual funded accounts, last week we didn't really make too much, but we actually didn't lose much either. We had 1 losing day. Oh man, I'm breaking down. I'm not even watching this. All right. It might be time for me to just shut this account down. Yeah, we're just gonna cut that one down. It's all right. It's all right. We'll come back to it closer to the opening bell. My big edge is after the open, and apparently this is really confirming of my plan with my funded accounts, which is I can't. I shouldn't be trading in pre-market heavily. Not heavily, at least. Gold, look at guys. Look at gold, guys. Gold's popping up. Here's Microsoft. Let me put like Nvidia up here. Nvidia's been weighing on market sentiment today. The China news is bad for them. Tesla got up to 399s and then dumped back down. See, I still kind of like am interested in buying the dip here. So I'm still interested in buying the dip here. The problem is just like, the problem is you never know, but I think Tesla's gonna head back up after the open. That's my guess. I might be wildly wrong. Tesla's up a lot, just to clarify, just to show you the risks of what I'm saying here. This is just a straight up guess, okay? It's just an intuition. The risks of this are that Tesla is up big over the last week. It's certainly also possible that at the opening bell, Tesla falls down a heavy amount from profit taking. Super possible as well. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's just possible. So just be smart, be careful. Gold futures is GC. All right, so we day traded a little bit. All right, guys, we're gonna switch to our day trading show pretty soon. Pretty soon. Yeah, I'm looking back at Angel's comments. He's just kind of toxic. Like, if 5 out of 6 of your comments are just hypercritical, you might be a little insecure. Good day to you, sir. Yeah, just no reason to behave that way. Jewelers. Yeah, I've been getting into watches recently. We're going to switch, guys. Again, if it doesn't bring you there for whatever reason, here's the link to our day trading stream. So if it doesn't bring you there for whatever reason, here's the link to our day trading stream. Make sure it gives me the link. Hold on. All right, I got to find it. Hold on, chat. If it doesn't bring you there for whatever reason, here's the link. Yeah, there it is. You should be able to see it on our homepage. So if it doesn't bring you there for whatever reason, here's the link right here. All right, well, just click the link then, Derek, if it doesn't bring you. Again, we're going to redirect to our day trading stream right now. So I'll see you guys over there. Again, as soon as we close this stream, it should bring you to our day trading stream. If it doesn't, the link is in the chat right there, so check it out. All right, you guys ready? I'll see you guys over at the day trading stream.